guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. I'm so glad you're here. Let's talk one of my favorites. Let's talk Sophie. That's right, the Duchess of Edinburgh in the news, and I want to talk about it. Formerly the Countess of Wessex. You know, I've been a longtime fan of hers. Sorry to flip to these images, but there's a reason I'm showing you this. There's a really funny headline comparing Sophie's actual work versus whatever Meghan's doing, and it's worth a look. So let's take a look. I'm Jen. Honk, everyone. Thanks for being here. Courtesy of Daily Mail, how Sophie became royal women's rights champions as Meghan sells jam. Oh God, I love it so much, and I get it. There is no comparison. Believe me, I know it. You have a genuinely kind, caring, hardworking royal on the left and scam jam on the right. And so, I totally get it. I don't normally like putting their names even in the same sentence, but in this case, I feel like it's worth a look. And while we're looking, might I just share some of my all-time favorite photos when Sophie was trying to climb out of a carriage. I believe this was at Royal Ascot, and she slipped or tripped, and Catherine lovingly caught her, and we got some of these really funny photos. I love their faces. That would so be me. I can relate to this so hard. I'm such a klutz, so I love these photos so much. I always have. But let's take a look at what Sophie's been up to, because she has been in the news quite a bit. And I know, of course, we always have Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, working so hard. And they talk about how Sophie has been right there working so hard too, of course, with the health stuff going on with both King Charles and Catherine, Princess of Wales. So it's just so lovely to see them talking about her, and I want to talk about her as well. So we have this. Meghan Markle wastes her potential. What potential would that be? Sending jam to celebrities, while Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, visits Ukraine, royal experts claim. So I want to talk about this. Again, I've been a longtime fan of Sophie, one of my favorites, and done videos about her before. So I think she's worth recognizing. I want to talk about some of her causes, and I want to talk about that I'm sure crockery is breaking around Montecito right now as headlines like this are coming out. But again, it points to, hey, numbnuts, both of you, to my Harry and Meghan, of course. If you actually wanted to do good, you could do good. What are you choosing to do? Bash the royal family and peddle your jam. So the Duchess of Edinburgh's visit to Ukraine has proved she's the royal family's champion of women's rights, while Meghan Markle, quote, wasted her potential. Again, what potential would that be? By sending jam to celebrities. A royal expert has claimed Prince Edward's wife, I think she's so much more than that, but I get what they're saying, bravely denounced Putin's forces for using awful stuff as a weapon of war, as she became the first British royal to visit Ukraine since Russia's invasion in February 2022. Meanwhile, the other one is gearing up to launch her lifestyle brand. Hasn't she been gearing up for months? Haven't we been hearing about this? All we see are stupid jars of jams where the labels are falling off, no ingredients listed. What are we gearing up to do? I'm gearing up to make a jam sandwich. I've been practicing for months. Does that make me a huge success? I don't think it does. American Riviera Orchard has recently sent, I don't care, one of her friends, hey, look at that. She sent a friend jam. That's new. It's really not. It's really lame is what it is. Let's get back to Sophie. Speaking to Daily Mail, royal expert Robert Fitzwilliams noted how Meghan's work around women's rights appears to have waned in the wake of Megxit. Okay, I have some stuff to say about this. What work would that be? She's all talk and no action. Giving speeches about the things you would have done or would do are not the same as doing women's work to support women. I'm just so blown away when I read things like this, and I'm not coming down on this writer. I agree with everything they're saying, but just the idea, people stand by this. She's a women's champion. No, she is not. I have been working behind the scenes on a video breaking down the things she has said versus her inaction, shall we say, about, that damn soap story, for instance, over and over telling it and how bullshit it is, and then going on about how it's important to stand up for women and all this. And yet again, I beg you to look into the Africa Parks thing. Not a word there. That is not standing up for women's rights. I find out more things, such as that allegedly letters were written to Meghan letting her know of the atrocities and not saying a word about it, in a position to actually help people. If she wanted to turn things around, that would have been her chance. She blew it. It continues to blow it because she won't say a word. I think about her in South Africa, making it about herself when there's true human atrocities going on right there within steps of where she filmed that interview. Nobody's asked me about me. Nothing, not a word. That is not standing up for women's rights. That is looking out for yourself and making it about yourself. Ugh. I'm a very angry goose. But then they go on to talk about Meghan speeches she's given. Again, all words, no actions. What else is new? Continues to just throw out these word salads and contradict herself. I don't even care about that. She's very ineffectual. Let's go on to Sophie. The expert noted how the Duchess of Edinburgh has been tirelessly working in the women's rights realm over the past few years along her sister-in-law, Queen Camilla. Richard continued, whilst Meghan sends pots of jams to celebrities, it is the Duchess of Edinburgh who meets survivors of conflict-related violence and displaced women in a landmark visit to Ukraine. It is Queen Camilla who has done so much to give a voice to survivors of domestic abuse and who has spoken out so forcefully against gender-based violence. He added, if Meghan had seriously wanted to make a difference, she should surely have remained a senior working royal. Now, in theory, that is the case, and that's what I was saying too, but realistically, those two didn't do shit when they were working royals. 72 engagements, 72. And again, as pointed out in many a book, it was mostly like polo matches in the movie premiere where they're pitching themselves for voiceover work. That is so pathetic. All right. Let's see here. It does involve compromise, but think of what could have been achieved for an important cause she claims is so dear to her heart. Emphasis on claims. Again, I'm not even preaching to the choir. I know you guys know. It's just that the words not matching the actions and saying the things and never following through. What else is new? Let's highlight more of Sophie's incredible work. In January 2020, she flew to Sierra Leone, where she visited a women's center. 2 months later, she traveled to the Republic of South Sudan and visited various initiatives to protect the safety of girls and women, as well as meeting women peace builders and rights activists. In March of 2022, she delivered a keynote speech at the United Nations in New York about the importance of upholding women's rights in Afghanistan. Yesterday, she denounced the use of violence to demean, degrade, destroy women and girls as she met survivors of the invasion. So I'm not trying to skip words on purpose. It's just a YouTube thing. You got to bear with me. People come down on me for this. It's not my fault. I want to say all this out loud too. It's freaking censorship, and you know it bugs me too. But let's keep going. It doesn't take away from what Sophie has done. She's wonderful, and I love her causes, and I love that she's not just saying these things. She's out there trying to help situations. She's going to these places. She's meeting with people. I love Sophie. The mother of two said she was grateful for the honesty and openness displayed by women she spoke to during an emotional one-day trip to Kiev and surrounding areas. The Duchess, who visited in her role as champion of the UK's Preventing Sexual Violence and Conflict Initiative and the Women, Peace and Security Agenda, said women and girls pay the highest price in war. In January, Queen Camilla gave a speech during the 50th anniversary of the Swindon Domestic Abuse Support Service, where she said she hoped the horrific scourge of domestic abuse would be obliterated in the next 50 years. Then we go to the other one. My voice is doing that on purpose because then we have one out telling soap stories, recycling something that may or may not, probably not, happen at 11 years old. We're still talking about that, trying to get attention for ourselves. What a difference. versus trying to go out and do some good. So, yeah, kudos to the person that wrote this. I love giving Sophie the very much deserved pat on the back. Same with Princess Anne, same with, Queen Camilla, all the royal women, Catherine, Princess of Wales. And then you got this one out there telling soap stories. Again, I spoiler alert, I'm working on a video where her words and actions, I'm going to break it all down. Her words versus her actions. And I just did one where she is talking about the importance of equality between men and women. Okay. Well, then you look into her company, Archewell, right? It's her company. It's her and Doofus's company, Archewell. I am saying company on purpose. And guess what? The men and women are not paid the same. So you talk about not matching your words and actions. There are so many cases like this where the words and actions don't match. So I think it's important to continue to call it out. But in the meantime, can we just say Sophie is lovely. I love her work. I love her. I've done other videos on her. You can definitely check those out. She's wonderful, and I continue to support her, and I think it's wonderful what she's doing for women. She's actually out there doing things for women. I think that's incredible work. Guys, I'm leaving this here. I have a list in my head. This sounds silly. I just love the UK so much. You know that. That's not silly. I want to go back so bad. I'm really hoping to go back later this year. But I have a list in my head of people I'd love to see. I have been able to see Princess Anne. I've told that story many times. Of course, I got to see King Charles. I would love to see Catherine. She's my number one. I would love to see Sophie when I'm in the UK. How cool would that be? I'd love to go somewhere where she is, have the opportunity to talk to her, or meet her, whatever. Just wave at her. I'm happy to do all of that. There's so many I'd love to see, and she is very high up there as well. I'd love to see Queen Camilla. There's just so many. Catherine's my number one. I'd love to see Prince William as well. I'm not trying to exclude the men, but since we're talking about the women, there's so many royal women I would love to see. Thank you guys for being here. Have you ever seen Sophie? Let me know. Have you ever met her? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for being here. I truly hope you all had the best day. Thank you for all the love and support. Thank you for everything you did on that fundraiser. I will never stop thanking you for that. We did such good for so many people, and that's wonderful. I just appreciate all you flockers so much. Take care. Bye-bye.